space, not the planes in the sky, not the shipless seas, nor the vehicles on the ground.
Ecto Radio.
The ghost hunting badasses.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Only on the Supernatural Radio Network.
Beer-fueled, whiskey-filtered paranormal radio.
Okay, welcome to Ecto Radio. I'm the Hitman.
I am Racer.
I am Wicked Wendy.
Wizard of Gore.
And
Zero Voorhees.
woo!
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Know.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
It's been a long time.
A minute.
A minute.
Try an hour.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It was
two, because take one we crashed somehow. And so hopefully that won't happen again.
No, it will.
Well, you know it is.
It will not.
We got cursed. You came back and it just like...
That sounds about right.
But that happens sometimes, and that's okay. You know, it's... As long as it's all good.
I feel like my voice sounds so funny. Did you turn that bass up again just to mess with me and make me sound butch?
No, but you need to talk a little bit more. I got to get your mic up.
I know, because I was thinking, I was like, wow, my
Gotta
voice is
Viagra up
really
the mic.
deep. Oh, hello. This is Racer.
I'm Razor.
I'm Racer.
I'd like to welcome everybody.
Welcome to the show.
It's better than being in the house.
So, in case you haven't figured out, we have a new setup. So,
We do.
trying to just get everything tweaked. So, audio is going to be better on our video now than what it was before. But we didn't actually check through all the microphones.
Yeah, so now everything should be
Yeah,
good,
okay.
golden.
We kind of skipped that part.
A lot better than what it was. And that's all that matters. So those of you who are watching, let us know if you can hear us. Because it's all a big test. Even though I spent 8 hours on Friday trying to rearrange everything, but I think we got it now. Okay, so today we got a massive topic to talk about. And some of it has to do with EVP. We're going to do the evils of EVP. And in addition to that, there's an interesting article I found, and it's kind of neat. It's going to tie into a little bit of what we were talking about last week, but it's also going to kind of be a change from everything else. So I think I'm seeing the way this is going, and I'm not liking the direction, if you will. It's kind of like, you know, in the old days when they say they were sailing,
Right.
and they're going to sail off the edge of the frickin' world.
Yeah.
That's
And
about
ghost
to happen.
hunting's about to, yeah. it's getting
We're
bad.
seeing the crest.
Yeah.
The mist in the distance.
It's going to get pretty bad. In fact, I think we'll go over this first. So, what this is all from is, I got the writer's name. What's her name?
Sharon Hill.
So she went to Phenomicon.
Phenomicon. I like the sound of that, though. I got to be honest.
Yeah,
I got
those
to be
guys,
honest.
they're all dancing. Phenomenon. Yeah. But anyway, so...
That's going to get stuck in all of your heads.
yeah, well... So what this is, she went to this thing, and she's writing about the stuff that she's encountered in it.
And Zero's back. All right, so this is called Phenomenology Paranormal Conference Show Shifts from Science-y to Spiritual.
Science-y?
Science-y.
That's a word. now?
Phenomenology 105 is an annual conference on the paranormal that took place this year, March 22nd to the 24th, in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Great location.
Yeah.
Hosted by Northeastern Paranormal Investigation, or NEPI, we'll call them NEPI. About 500 people attended the zombie-themed event, of course, because that's not overdone, that featured speakers, paranormal celebrities, panel discussions, ghost hunts, and a zombie prom. What makes this type of event similar to skeptical, science, and secular-themed conferences is a sense of enjoyment in sharing a common interest, the free use of jargon particular to the specialty subject area, and interaction with people that everyone just knows. They also had a funny and personable MC by the way of Jeff Bellinger. Participants were excited and enthusiastic. Yet differences from science, skepticism, conferences, however, are considerable. You have never been to one of these conferences? Well, let me show you around. Demographics of a Paracon. There are no professors. There are no suits. Instead, there are lots of black T-shirts. Black T-shirts are the stereotypical uniform of paranormal investigators. They really do wear them, emblazoned with their group's name and acronym. Entire families wear the same T-shirt design. Yes, families. The age range of this event was wide. The youngest child around 9, and the oldest person likely over 70.
And then the other
median
two people,
age,
that
if
was
I
the
guess,
whole phenomenon.
if I had to guess, was about 40. Ethnicity was not as diverse. At least half of the attendees were women. However, this ratio did not hold for the speakers. I counted only 4 women among 40 or so presenters. There was no hint or mention of sexism and no conduct policy. Everyone was courteous and friendly, but I was not present later at the bar when alcohol entered into the social mix. The vendor area featured merchandise ranging from ghost hunting implements to skull motif jewelry. This was also a meet and greet location to purchase autographs and pictures from authors and horror actors in attendance. The psychic reader didn't seem very busy. I asked about the periscope device that detects changes in the static electricity by changing colors. Oh, pretty. It says that. I didn't make that shit up. The seller demonstrated the response by placing his cell phone next to it. Also featured on this table were palm-sized geophones that lit up when nearby vibrations were detected. Great for lining them along a dark hallway to detect footsteps, he said. And besides that, it glowed in the dark. Cool. It was only $100 a piece. With so many gadgets on display, I noticed the non-gadgets even more. Vendors were selling every kind of saintly medal, rosary, chakra, and lucky charm you could imagine. There is a trend away from the sciencey sounding activities in exchange for a greater reliance on the spiritual. Another speaker noticed this exact transformation in herself, which I describe a bit later.
Okay, so first of all, we have the parapod, which he demonstrates with his cell phone, thus demonstrating that this instrument will indeed pick up man-made sources. That right there proves it's not worth anything as far as paranormal goes. All right, so you got that. You got the bad equipment. But you see in the trend, they're selling all the medals and all the little charms and everything else that comes along with it. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But it's going to get worse as she continues on.
Are they selling the vaginal cleaning salts as well?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Read on.
Just hold on. I suspect the spiritual topics may have gained popularity beginning with the TV show Paranormal State, which aired from 2006 to 2011, featuring college kids investigating hauntings often associated with evil forces or demons. The leader, Ryan Buell, was a devout Catholic, interpreted the anecdotes and observations as demonic in many instances, even believing that he had his own demon in pursuit. He consulted with demonologists. Now, several groups consider the demonic in their investigation scenarios. The use of protective medallions, religious symbols, and holy water have become more common tools. This religious orientation is also fueled by the success of the TV show Haunted Collector, featuring John Zaffis, nephew of Ed and Lorraine Warren, America's most infamous demonologists. You keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. An array of speakers. Part 3. The Zaffis family was the main event on the first night of the conference. The premise of the show is a family investigates items that are supposedly giving people psychic trouble. The blooper reel they showed was a huge hit with loud, obvious fans sitting next to me. This was my first indication that this is very much a fan con. The content is often light, mostly consisting of Q&A sessions with the paracelebs. While sometimes entertaining, I admit I do not like Q&A sessions because of the dull questions repeatedly asked by the audience. What was the scariest thing that happened to you? What's your favorite place to investigate? I don't watch the shows much, so that doesn't interest me. Many of the people are entertainers, and they make their fans happy. Later, I got a chance to ask John Zaffis, an admitted fan of all religions, on how he reconciles all these different belief systems.
Fan of religions.
He is an admitted fan of all religions, how he reconciles all these different belief systems in terms of the client's paranormal experience. What role does religion play? His answer was brilliant and enlightening. People must use the tools they have, including religion, to deal with their own situation. He can help them but they must do something on their own to feel protected. It did not matter what symbol they used, a rosary, a cross, a rabbit's foot, as long as it worked for them and they believed that it does. He also noted that in his talk that the sponsors, network, and lawyers do not like when he does religious rituals. This is a touchy area. When I returned from the conference, I checked in with some contacts who follow ghost hunting trends and assured me the shift from science to spirituality is a definite thing. Science has failed to give them the solutions that they wanted, and so they moved to a more flexible framework, whether it's New Age beliefs or a traditional religion. And this concluded the first evening. The people were genuinely nice and fun to listen to, with one caveat. I had to suspend my skepticism and rational thought and just listen.
So there you go. So, all right.
I can't tell if she had a good time or not.
Well, it doesn't sound like it. She didn't go to the bar, so obviously not. But
Yeah.
part of the problem, and this is kind of what I was talking about, and she just mentioned it, unable to locate anything with science
Right.
or their supposed use of science, it's shifting to the spiritual. Now, this happened in the late 90s. And what's
Which
happening
explains
now...
Pearl Jam.
Well, it's history repeating itself, but it's going to be worse this time around because the other factions of it that happened in the 90s were worse. And what was going on in the 90s, there was a movement to kind of get back to the grassroots of the thing. And we talked about this before on the show, where in the past, the ghost hunters weren't presenting evidence. You would take an unusual photograph, you'd put it up, people would give their opinions of what it is. So you'd have, a photograph with 5 or 6 different opinions, and you left it at that, and you let the public make up their mind. Is it really something weird, or is it explainable? This same grassroots movement is going on now, but it's with more of a frenzy, because you're seeing the groups starting to challenge, like Worst Paranormal, Eye on the Paranormal, what's the other one? Paranormal Posers, the bullshit, what is it? What's that other one called? The bullshit Paranormal Society or something like that. And there's a whole bunch of these watchdog groups.
Society.
And what they're doing is they're calling people out, saying, you're calling that evidence, prove it.
Right.
And
then since science isn't doing it, they're taking their camera and going home with a whole new angle. Well,
Yeah.
then you know what? You're just not a fan of religion. That's your problem. You're not a fan of the JC.
well, what
or
they're saying,
They're
and
closed-minded.
the B.
what they're saying is,
This
Buddha have a last
can't be detected by science, and therefore only I, Madam Eugene, am able to detect the spiritual presence with my special abilities, thus not being able to
So it's
challenge
reverting
her
back to the
because
psychic thing.
it's going to the spiritual part. Now, in the 90s when this happened, it ended badly when they went to the spiritual route, because you're now wanting a piece of the pie that religion controls. And the ones
And
that
religion
really,
does not give up its pie.
No,
Let's
they
be
don't.
honest, people.
And
We
the
know.
ones that really went off on them were the Christians.
tried.
Because the Christians, there's many passages saying don't talk to the dead, that's
Yeah.
of Satan and blah, blah.
Satan.
And so they were getting hit by both sides. They're getting hit by the grassroots people saying, prove your evidence. And then here's the other end, the Christians going, you guys are monkeys that are doing the work of the devil. And they kind of ended. I see
Devil
the
monkeys.
field going that way right now. Because as you're looking at this stuff, and I don't know, I keep track of words,
That sounds like a
paranormal and
bad
all
name.
that.
Blasphemous monkeys.
That stuff is there.
Ah.
And they're challenging people, and when the people are challenged, what do? They block
Choose
them on
Pepsi.
Facebook. All of a sudden, that great picture that they were claiming is paranormal suddenly is off their website,
That was an 80s reference.
and it's just getting bad.
Yeah.
And so I see it devolving back into the same thing we went through in the 90s, where you're going to have a lot of these people going to the spiritual. And this is, once again, kind of backing it up because we're starting to see it in the big conventions. It's already starting to occur.
Well, there's the first problem, is conventions. Once you do a convention thing, I mean, that's it. You're tainted.
Well, now, the first conventions, when you look at the very first one, the American Ghost Society did them, and Troy Taylor, he's a legit dude.
Right.
Investigator,
But when you
believes
start
very much.
bringing in horror people and
It's become a
these
business.
TV people, yeah, exactly. You've turned it from research to a nerd gathering, basically, where you get people up there. Yes, in season 3, episode 12, the hunting of Alcatraz, clearly when you're asking for the EVP of the Birdman, all you seem to get is birds on your EVP. But yet, being a fan of religion, you're claiming the birds are the Birdman as he metamorphosized into the bird in which he was known as Tweet Tweet Tweedledee.
We've missed you, Zero.
Reincarnated.
Yeah. I mean, they're hell. They're hell. Conventions are hell.
They are, and they've become so much about making a buck now. And like she's saying, no one's giving them hard questions. It's all ass kissing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so great. That EVP did. Oh, brilliant question. What was that again?
Yeah.
What year were you born? Oh my God!
Who would have thunk the questions you come up with are phenomenal. If I could just mow your lawn for one day, I would learn so much.
Yeah, and that's what it's kind of gone to.
And yeah.
But I think we got more here that we can go into.
So
let's see what else she experienced at Phenomicon.
All right. This one's actually going to kind of hit home with Hitman and I think, this next portion.
Uh-oh.
Friday was all-day lectures. The first speaker was John Brightman. He gave a presentation on the Bridgewater Triangle of Massachusetts, mainly the Freetown Forest area. The area is perceived to be a hotbed.
I love how they use that word,
of
too,
satanic rituals, hauntings, UFO, and Bigfoot sightings.
All in one spot?
Brightman correlated the events to the 3 mental hospitals. All of these events are correlated to the 3 mental hospitals in the area and has an Indian curse based on a historic massacre.
Yeah, don't forget
there
the
were
old
so
Indian
many
bird.
stories with no references and no other evidence given that it was very difficult to tell what was reliable. During the talk, he told of reported thunderbird sightings in the triangle, while showing slides of pterosaur-like creatures portrayed during Civil War times. I immediately recognized the pictures as hoax photos related to a past TV show, but Brightman didn't mention that. He talked about the photos in the context that they were genuine.
Of course
Perhaps
they
he slipped on the descriptions, but if he didn't know these photos were faked, it would be impossible for me to take him seriously as an investigator. Later in the vendor room, I decided not to bring up the mistakes he made, but ask him about the periscope device that he was displaying.
She is in love with that periscope device. You
He
notice
said-
that? This is the second time she's brought up the periscope.
And then she says, he said the flashing colored lights
That's
are
cool.
mainly for entertainment value, but I think his stories are too. All right, Hitman, are you ready?
So,
Jason Goen, formerly of the roundly criticized TV show Extreme Paranormal, gave a humorous and honest presentation about his experiences as a ghost hunter and reality TV participant. Jason, who is an acquaintance of mine, is a funny, sweet person who sits in the middle of the paranormal belief sphere. He knows things are often faked and can be fooled, but still wonders about terrifying personal episodes that he can't brush off. He freely admits that you will come across many people who want to believe in the paranormal so badly. They will force evidence, many of the people who claim to have experienced activity and not mentally stable. Yet he understands that people feel isolated when they have such experiences and just want someone to help them. Comforting people is really where it's at, he says. He also says that let's go into a Santa Fe State prison and completely
desecrate the place.
Yeah. And let's not do our research of 2 people that we interviewed and know that
And
all
just
of their
totally
accounts
blow
are
him
false.
off and come up with our own thing. You know what? He should open up since he's so concerned about the people and their loneliness with paranormal activities. I got a new show for this guy. You can have this one, Jason. You can have it. Ghost Line. Instead of like a suicide line, Ghost Line. Where there's just a bunch of operators that take care of these lonely, misunderstood, underappreciated, undervalued heroin addicts that he can be on the phone with. Ghost Line, and he can comfort them. And it's okay. I've seen ghosts too. After I peed on a razor blade and cut my finger and put the runestone for sucker.
Yeah, and just for those of you that don't know the story, Hitman, you tell it about Extreme Paranormal.
And now,
tell a story.
A moment in time and clarity.
Tell the story, Hitman.
By the Hitman.
About Extreme Paranormal.
we got an episode on it. You'll have to go back to the archives, but we punked them. What we did
Hard.
is what we did is
so hard. Ooh.
We gave them.
Punked.
How would you describe that?
A scientific.
We baited them with information.
We
basically.
baited them and then trained them on their equipment. Basically, is what happened.
They didn't know jack about operating a lot of their equipment, but
What's this on button do?
Yeah, no, you have no idea. What kind of cameras are? Well, isn't it right there on the front of the camera?
They're the Cheech and Chongo ghost
And then
hunters,
this one guy,
dude.
I don't know if it was
Where's
this
your
guy.
license? Isn't it on the bumper?
And I don't know if it was this guy, but there was one guy that looked at me. He's like, "Well, let me take you over here where it's dark."
that's him.
Is that him?
That's him.
This
That's
is him?
Yeah.
This guy tried to take me into a dark room with a
Chubbs.
pin.
Yeah, Chubbs.
And I'm like, oh man,
Is that
no.
right? Isn't he the chubby one?
It's Chubbs. Yeah.
Chubbs, yeah.
Yeah.
Good old chubby.
Now he's going to go into
this part
Okay.
Listen to this next part because here comes
This is
the
where the
lining.
showers were.
All right,
This
here
is
we
the
go.
lining. So listen up.
This is the one.
You got to listen to this.
No longer under a non-disclosure agreement, Jason speaks out about his time on Extreme Paranormal.
All 3 days.
Paranormal TV is entertainment, he states. They don't care about what's real or what's not or whether it's legitimate. Their job is to make a show people will watch. Extreme Paranormal went down the toilet when they were directed to perform a blood ritual where one of their hosts cut themselves. Jason insisted this set a horrible example. He was ignored. To this day, he claims he is vilified for his participation in a ruse and was not allowed to expose. The contract stated they would be fined for impeding production of the show. The show was then canceled.
Now, my talk on this: if you're going to go and sign up for a show, what happened here is they wanted a show so bad they signed and they didn't read the frickin' contract, because all that is in there. I mean, if you, he has no grounds to even bitch. You should have read the frickin' contract before you signed it, and it's not wrong. In fact, the thing you should do is, how are you going to represent me, blah, blah, blah. You want to know all that. Because if you don't, they can make you look like an asshole, a big pussy, whatever they want to do.
That's why God invented LegalZoom.com.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just sign an open contract.
That's all he did. He was like, girls are going to talk to me now. As he was signing it, that's exactly what he said.
Then I can start luring young girls into dark rooms with me.
Oh, it was so bad.
It all comes together. See how it works?
It was
full.
so bad. Well, and what's funny is, like, I mean, he does make a point, though, where he says that, you know, it was for entertainment. It clearly was, because
What,
they got...
taking you to the back was for
No, the
entertainment? I
show
think
was for
that's-
entertainment,
Oh,
because
okay.
they got
That's pretty accurate.
three hosts that had no idea what they were doing.
No.
The other two do a podcast, and their words on their own podcast were, we're going to do the things that no one says you should do to see what happens.
Right.
In other words, they're treating this like it was a serious experiment. We're going to do the things you're not supposed to do and see what happens. Yet he's coming back and saying, well, it was all entertainment, and that the producers made up this shit for them to do.
Even though they claimed before the show aired, this is what we're going to do. While they were hyping the show, because I remember their podcast.
They went to Bonita Lake, which is this is a site that we fed them that used
Yep.
to be negative control for our group, meaning it's all made up. There's not a single bit of it that's false. If these guys were true, then they should have figured out, oh, wow, we ain't getting shit. What do? They set the surface of the fucking lake on fire with candles and shit, and
Yep.
then they dive down, and the guy's down there.
Yep.
Oh, someone spawn me! And it, you know, and it's...
When the fish laugh at you, that's a sign.
Yeah.
It's a sign.
It's just bad. And that's the whole point. All of it is fucking entertainment. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it all is. It's
All of
simply
it.
the way it is. Because the honest thing is so freaking boring, who the hell would want to film it? Unless there was some kind of angle. There'd have to be an angle.
Right.
Like
You
an
know?
educational documentary.
No, there'd have to be an angle. You know. Some kind of a different angle. There'd have to be drama in the group. There'd have to be something
There had to be
that would
something
be there
to
for
take
them
care
to...
of the
boredom.
attention span
Yeah.
of nanosecondism.
Well, we didn't get shit!
Yeah.
But, let's go to the fight between Zero and...
I don't know. I think
the Wiz.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't know if golf's still popular. I think real ghost hunting has an audience out there somewhere. There's always Insomniacs.
Yeah.
Ghost golf? No, I wasn't thinking.
The thing
You
is,
do.
and I've seen,
Interleague
there's
play,
been a couple of interviews with this guy, and he's crying about, I didn't have control, I didn't know what I was getting into, the producers made us do it,
It's always the producers.
And I signed this non-disclosure statement.
Well, I mean, it worked for the Sex Pistols. And they were absolutely nothing. And then somebody walked in and said, hey, here's a guitar. You're in a band now. And there was a band, and they're successful. I mean, is that what he was expecting out of this? Just like drag them off the streets and...
Well, even with the non-disclosure, there's limits to that. I mean, if you're able... I don't know why you would put yourself in that situation where you couldn't talk about what you're doing. I mean, if you're serious, like everybody's claiming, oh, this guy's so serious about, and he's legit and he's really level-headed.
So serious.
If you're really that way, why in the hell would you even sign up for something you didn't know what the hell was coming
Because here's
down
the
road?
thing. I can sum it up right now. He's lying his ass off and covering his tracks because he can't stand up like a man and just go, you know what?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said. Was that the current affair thing?
That's the fail when you get it wrong.
That sounds like current affair. I'm expecting. Wow. Yeah, get the Prices Right one because I'm expecting Deborah Boyle or whatever her name is to come out. Wasn't it Marino Boyle or something like that? I'm taking it way back. This is when Wapner was still on. But
Wapner.
yeah, it's just he's covering his track. He doesn't want to sit there and disappoint his fans by saying, I knew the whole thing was fake from the bell, but I don't want to be ostracized from this community, so I'm going to sit here and paint this. I'll blame the producers because they've moved on to other things anyway, like the Real Housewives of Grass Lake, Iowa, or something.
Yeah, he's still admitting that he lied about everything, faked everything, and that he's...
Yeah, but see, he's taking the easy way out of it. He's taking the easy way, he's taking the high road, if you will, like, yeah, I did it, and I got a Corvette, and I got to talk to girls and give out my credit card number to get them to respond. And
No, I guarantee you this guy didn't get to talk to girls.
And, like...
He tried to talk to Racer.
Yeah, he tried to talk to
He tried to talk to me. I'm like, dude, no, you're dumb.
Dark enough to where she wouldn't need a bag for him.
Yeah.
That's how dark it was. But
I was
that's
so
what he's
scared.
doing. I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's just trying to take the high road.
Yeah,
It's like It's like politicking.
Well, politicking.
Is there more?
You got caught with a 17-year-old prostitute. Her ID said 18.
All right, we got to keep moving. We got more to get in here. I want this last
Here
bit
we
to
go.
get in here.
Dave Schrader from Darkness Radio gave a well-done presentation on nightmare creatures. Who doesn't love that topic, especially when delivered with Dave's booming radio voice? I learned some new creatures from his talk: the Bloody Bones Man, the origin of the Tooth Fairy, and more on the completely concocted Slender Man. Dave considers himself a skeptic in sense. He mentioned that those people experiencing night hauntings, for example, the old hag syndrome or alien abduction scenarios, would be advised to consult a professional regarding sleep disorders. He explained that shadow people are possibly related to our problems with light perception in the dark or weird conditions of a place that make you feel uneasy. Telling the story of the Queen Mary ghost, he was clear that the story of the little girl ghost Jackie arose when what looked like a footprint. It grew from there, despite no evidence, but for all the admission and of alternative or informal and normal explanations, he then promoted the paranormal by factually stating that ghosts like attention. Bad hauntings, like demons, start slowly. Then the tales of the black-eyed children, people ended up dead.
Black-eyed children.
Black-eyed children. And that you need to protect yourself from the bad stuff. Disappointingly, his explanation for the proliferation of the Slender Man reports, a character that supposedly heralds death to those who see him, took a leap from what might be characterized as a propaganda, the spreading of an idea through culture, to the 100th monkey phenomenon of a group. There you go, there's another band name. The 100th monkey phenomenon of group consciousness. Also, he entertains the idea of tulpas, where creations of our mind become real. Example, Queen Mary's Jackie. Oh dear, I thought we were on the right track for a while. I asked Dave, what do you mean by skeptic? He said, a person who questions.
You ain't my bitch, nigga.
Whoa!
That's Brock.
All right.
Whoa!
All right.
Whoa, too far.
Okay.
Too soon. Too
I'm sorry,
soon.
what did you say you were?
Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah.
The day went
Accurate.
downhill from there, as many of the
But-
speakers made mistakes that I could easily pick up, factual errors, and not little ones either. continue to be common. The scholarship at these events is sorely lacking. References are second or third hand or non-existent, and credentials are created. Dave Giuliano of South Jersey Ghost Hunting Research sees his crew as doctors to diagnose a situation. He teaches classes on this. One of Dave's points about the frame of mind is ghosts are drawn to anger. Positivity gives you protection. God, that sounds like a tampon ad.
Well,
dude, it does.
Positivity gives you protection.
That does. Yeah.
Tampon commercial. There we go.
Now,
There's a
Dave,
second job.
this guy was, like, they admit, he was a radio host that kind of got into it. And if you look and pay attention to what he's doing, he's all involved in the money part. He's one of the guys that sets up these big conferences, highly involved with TAPS until they started going downhill. In fact, I know that from Chris Fleming, that he's one of he sets up these big events.
Oh, he does.
And so,
Yeah,
not surprising that he's
we
in
never
there.
get invited.
No, hell no. I wouldn't go. I would honestly turn it down. Why? What is there to honestly talk about?
Because you could have a flip out moment. Just grab the mic and then turn around slowly.
Yeah.
You're all a bunch of dicks. And then just start
Bag of dicks.
You're a piece of crap who doesn't even know what your equipment says, trying to drag lonely girls into the shadow corners. You all over there bleeding on shit. You know, you could just go up. You're over here pulling strings in your pocket. Just point them all out, call them out, and then drop the mic so it feeds back. Right at the end, scream sexual chocolate and drop the mic and go.
This point was similar to one Michelle Griffin made later in the day when she described how tools and equipment of scientific investigation hindered her growth and experience. I took that to mean
baby.
that she and others are over-reliant in perception, which is subjective and unreliable. There is that shift from physical to emotional evidence. They are opening themselves up wide to creating their own stories as opposed to an objective description. The audience appeared to hear this as getting in touch with your spiritual side.
Ooh.
That intuition and spiritual feelings were more powerful than anything, and this lady was a tool. She described how the paranormal was stepping a stone into a new spiritual outlook for her. She called it her holy shift. That's not all she called it.
She called it her holy what?
Shift.
Oh, I heard something else.
Which is the name of an upcoming event she is producing.
Oh,
she admitted that the paranormal was a gateway drug and that it opens you up to the next thing. It suggested to me being enveloped in belief. It made no sense to me.
Which
Oh, wait, hold on. 4/26/2013. Edited to remove parts by request of Michelle Griffin. So this lady who she just wrote about wanted her to change it and edit it and take things out.
Quite say.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
So she's on the bandwagon now. She's hooked.
A gateway
Another transformation.
Really, a gateway drug to higher spirituality.
Of course.
I would be a fucking guru. I should be on Mount Everest.
Yes. No, you can't be that high. They can't get up there.
Yeah,
Just
you got to be healthy.
A hill in San Francisco is all you need. That's all you need.
Overlooking San Diego Bay, so I can get fresh fish. Oh
There
my
you go.
God, those are the best fish I ever had. Never mind. I'm going off topic. Never mind.
All right, so continuing on. Once again, some
No, we're on
speakers...
topic. Shh. It's fishy.
Stop it.
That's what I was saying.
Stop it. Bring it on back, boys. Bring it on back. Once again, some speakers did Q&A, which was dull to me, and showed a lack of preparation. Perhaps I missed an opportunity. Bring it on back, I said. Did you not listen?
I'm done.
I missed an opportunity to ask some zingers, but I didn't wish to reveal my secret skeptic identity. I just listened. Interesting bits were to be found as people chit-chatted up for the next person. During one of these setup times, the speaker asked the audience if anyone had gone on a ghost hunt the previous night and how it went. There was some stirring in the audience. One woman sitting with a male partner and a teen girl spoke up and said, "We had a problem." They proceeded to tell how they had visited General Lee's headquarters when the teen girl experienced a choking sensation. Soon after, the man did too. And then the woman. As they all sought to get out of the place, they claimed to have heard a growl and interpreted their experience as encountering a malevolent force. Perhaps the general spirit didn't want them there, because they were
Malevolent
yanked.
creation.
Or maybe I thought it was a growling of my stomach, anxiety, fear, and mass psychogenic illness. No alternative. Okay, bring it on back, Racer. Bring it on to the back. No alternative explanations were proposed. The story was too good. Everyone was aghast. I was too, for a different reason. At no time did anyone ask
For
any
a different
probing
reason?
questions. If these claims are real and these spirits are so powerful, and that's what it is, so powerful, and
my
these
God.
items have demonstrable paranormal effects, why can't this be documented by scientists? It was not about that. It was about the belief. One black t-shirt caught my eye. It said, Spirit Research. The group T said, learn, understand, respect, and believe.
Kumbaya,
And
my
believe.
ghost.
By this time, I was tired. I had heard a lot of what surprised me. A nice change that I thoroughly enjoyed was the zombie panel discussion, led by ParanormalPopCultures.com Aaron Sagers. The panelists included radio personalities, paranormal investigators, and 2 zombie actors from The Walking Dead. Everyone knew their pop culture
2
zombies.
zombie actors, so 2 nobodies.
And it was like being back at the monster discussion at Dragon Con. Dragon Con is awesome. I'd love to go. The huge sci-fi fantasy
Zombie
convention.
47.
The questions were great and the viewpoints insightful until someone in the audience suggested that vaccination is a possible way to turn us into mindless horde of zombies because of the toxins. What a way to
McDonald's.
derail the
That's
discussion, lady. Sadly, she's the one who has been brainwashed. Belief in demons, astrology, chakras, and etc. is more understandable than the idea that vaccinations are an evil government plot.
Chemtrails.
You need to balance your root chakra there, Racer. You're a little out.
She gave me like 12 pages.
That's true.
Oh.
I have finals
hang on.
today.
Here you go.
Switch over to zombies.
lady!
So,
I am kind of a boob lady. It's fine.
so anyway.
Ow, you just cut me.
You cut me. So, going back on that, because we kind of tapped into something I'm going to lead into.
Oh, yeah.
That's not all you tap into.
That's right.
Yeah, I tap into that. But one of the things, if you were paying attention on our Facebook page, you saw some images. And what these images have on them is myself dressed up as a saint, and it has Bob dressed up as a saint. In fact, right here I have the Holy Grail of the Saint.
Don't play this shit. Turn it off.
It's
Monks.
holy. Take off your headphones. So, there's a reason for this. If you go to ghosthuntingbadass.com, this whole thing was a joke. And the way the joke started is we were talking about why do people believe the things that they believe. And we were using a cult as an example. And Bob, being his smart-ass, intelligent self, started adding little one-liner jokes, starting with, hey, how do I get on this cult action? And he signs it after each quote so we know it's him. And it starts out as Grand Poobah the Sane. And as he keeps making remarks as I'm going through making my point, it starts becoming, oh, Archdiocese the Sane of blah blah cult. And eventually ends with Saint the Sane, our patron saint of the Immaculate Inebriation.
Yes.
Thus the Holy Grail of the Saint. Now,
okay, good.
It's a good way to point it out.
Choose wisely.
It's a good thing to point it out because that same mentality, the same cult mentality that people have, the cult leader will make a prediction, and even when that prediction fails to come true, they still blindly follow that person. It's the same thing in the paranormal. They're blindly following these paracelebs. So many people are. They're false prophets, so to speak. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's all about them getting a little bit of gain in their pocket.
Yep.
Exactly. And what it is it's taking down everybody else. Because of that, now that the people that have been doing stuff are saying, bullshit, prove it, orbs are bullshit, what are you trying to pass this off?
Yeah.
Oh, iPhone fucking ghost? Really?
Yeah,
and then
thank you.
Now that they're being called on, oh, we're going to go to the spiritual now. And here, monks.
Stop playing monks.
She does not like monks, dude. It's like sharks.
Stop it.
Ow! Biatch! Don't do that.
Play it again. See where I hit you next.
Oh.
Hang on, I gotta.
Take a bet.
Here.
I will punch
That'll
you
be
in
a
the face and
holy.
it'll
What
come
was
out
that
your
thing
mouth.
that girl was doing? The Holy Spirit, Holy Research, Holy shit. Oh yeah, that's it. Holy shift. Yeah, the shift.
The holy shift. Yeah.
The holy shift.
I am not feeling positive and fresh right now.
You better use the vagina salts.
I know. I need the vagina salts stat.
iPhone brings you the holy shift.
We
I
know
so wanna
you're
go
on
to that.
painkillers. I'll forgive you. She gets a little grumpy.
Ooh, what you got? No, I'm just kidding.
And we can't give her a shot at anything because she's on meds otherwise. So I can understand.
That'll happen.
Even though you're drinking, what are you drinking? Coke?
No, okay. Get this
Is
messed
that
up
Diet
stuff.
Coke, really?
It's diet.
No.
I'm mad at her.
No. Hold on. Wendy was right behind me. I don't know if she saw me. I pushed.
Your life is about to get crushed by this. This is probably the most intense
seriously?
story you will ever hear.
I had my 50 cents.
Yeah,
I go down to the break room. I put in my 50 cents.
that's what I do.
What do I push? Dr. Pepper.
Right.
What comes out? Diet
Diet
Mother
Coke.
effing Coke.
Yeah.
I was going to say I didn't recognize that can.
I
They
offered her
changed
another
the can.
50 cents because, you know.
If you hit Diet Coke,
Yeah.
we'll give you Dr. Pepper.
I don't know. I'm not willing to try it.
Demons.
Demons.
Okay.
You've just been holy shifted.
So we're going to talk about the evils of EVP now. We're actually running a little bit over, but I wanted to get this out there.
Okay.
Even.
One
I'll
of the
read
things
fast.
that we noticed.
Oh my God, there's
I'm
more.
going to reveal stuff tonight, so this is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were talking in way back in Ecto Radio history. What you find out is that Bob and I at one time were saying we're debunking EVP, and then we stopped. One of the things that we discovered were the recorders that people are using, which are consumer-grade recorders, create audio artifacts that can be mistaken as EVP. So what we did is we changed it up right around 2003. We incorporated a professional-grade DAT recorder. We're talking like $500, a nice microphone. We ran the test for 2 years. Not one fucking EVP on it. Not one. Then, out of the middle of freaking nowhere, we get the one from the Valverde Battlefield, which
Yes.
kind of cast doubt.
Which
But
are my favorite ones?
I wanted to point out, because a lot of people are saying,
Greatest
wow,
hits.
this EVP. It's important to understand that there's a lot of different audio artifacts that these digital recorders create. So I have the top three. And we're going to have Racer go over them. I have them written down in a nice...
Bear with me. Not only did I just have to read a lot, but he started playing monks.
I know.
What kind of shit is that?
I got Jaws' theme song. Hang on.
I don't want to hear that either.
Okay.
I can't hear shit. Evil number 1, the jitter. Jitter is a variation in the time interval between one sample and the next. To work properly, a digital system must have a known time interval between each successive sample. If this time interval varies and an AD converter input signal is sampled at the wrong time. You know what throws me off is when the lights start flashing.
I can work on that for you
Yeah,
while you're doing that.
thank you. I'm such a princess. If this time interval varies, and I already read that part. Okay. Produce correct amplitude at the wrong time. In both cases, it can be shown that these errors phase modulate the audio. Thank you. That's good. No. Yes. Good. Okay.
There.
Good. Still.
Okay, so I
like
just
that.
concluded reading about the jitter.
So jitter is one of them. And where you're going to see jitter a lot,
Is a Wham reunion.
for example, if you're doing an EVP and you hear a voice, apparently a different voice repeating something you said. That is a possible explanation of what just happened. Completely explainable.
Yeah. And then
I'm sorry.
number 2.
Evil number 2. You know what I'm laughing at. Evil number 2. Quantization errors. All digital systems quantize an analog signal into a limited number of digital codes. Quantization is essentially a numeric rounding process. The accuracy of any number is reduced when rounding is amplified. For example, numbers 4.2 and 4.4 can both be rounded to 4. The rounding caused an error of 0.2 and 0.4, respectively. Similarly, The instantaneous voltage of an analog signal could be modeled as an integer followed by a nearly infinite number of decimal places. Quantization would be an analog...
An antelope?
An antelope. Quantizations would be analogous to rounding this exact quantity to the nearest integer. The accuracy of an analog signal is reduced when quantization is applied. The quantization process adds errors to the audio. The magnitude and character of these errors can vary significantly depending on system design. In a poorly designed system, quantization errors can take the form of a very non-musical and distorted version of the input audio. In a well-designed system, these quantization errors can take the form of white noise and can be held to inaudible levels and can be moved to inaudible frequencies. What causes aliasing? Is there a cure?
Okay, we'll stop there. We don't need to go that hard into it. Remember I was talking about...
Is there a cure?
Well, this is talking about how to fix the audio. Remember we were talking about how JPEG Snoop works, and it looks at the quantization table of the image and how the CCD writes the colors to that image, to that quantization table, and it's basically a series of numbers. Audio digital works the same way. It has it converts everything into numbers, and that how it tells it how to put the sound in. There can be errors in that, and this is what we discovered created artifacts when we were working with the extended range photography. It was creating artifacts because the camera is seeing light that it isn't designed to see, and what was happening was when the CCD was going in to write the colors, it's seeing things it doesn't recognize and goes, black. And it would go in and you'd have a black mass. Or it would do the opposite or make a white mass. That was the other thing it was doing. But notice it's on the far end of the scale. When you're having audio samples that have these kind of errors, you can have noises that sound like human voices. Now, the only way you can determine that that's what it actually is if you go in and you're looking in software for like a spectrogram and you're looking to see if there's vowels, and you're going to, okay, well, that's fucked up. That's not a word. It's more than likely that. There's one more. I don't think we want to go through all this because we're too short on time. Aliasing. That last paragraph. I'll make it easy for you.
Aliasing is an effect that frequency shifts signals so that they are incorrectly represented. In digital audio systems, ultrasonic tones may be aliased such that they are reproduced at audible frequencies. This frequency shifting may also reverse the relative location of tones within a multiple tone signal, such that a higher tone is reproduced below a lower tone. Aliased tones produced from inaudible ultrasonic tones that can clutter the audible bandwidth tones that have no relationship to the music. The destructive effects of aliasing raise havoc on audio signals.
And once again, another possible explanation. So, while we're talking about this, something really cool happened here tonight.
Yeah.
That not related at all to this. What we did tonight, we actually did a laboratory test to see, is this hypothesis that EVP is generated by electromagnetic signal possible? And we had Wendy and Racer over across the hallway, and what we did is we sent out a waveform through a coil, meaning it's not, you can't hear it, it's going out as an electromagnetic wave. We had our experimental mic, which is a coil connected into a microphone, pick it up and transfer it back into audio. So she asked the question. What was the question? Remember?
What was it? How do you feel about Hitman in his panties?
Yeah. And the question that came back was definitely my voice, which is fucked up because if I die, that's what I'm going to sound like, by the way, if this is true. Which was, ooh, bitches, I'm watching you. So,
yeah.
And the thing is, when we did that, you guys didn't hear it. All you heard was her ask the question in silence. Yet when we played it back, the voice is in there. So it does prove that the hypothesis is at least correct. So that was kind of neat. I want to bring that up.
A big step. No,
I was really geeked about that earlier. I'm kind of, the beer's numbing the excitedness.
Yes. That's usually how it happens. It's called whiskey dick.
No.
Just saying, I've heard about it.
Oh, you have?
I have.
From experience?
No, I have not. No. No, not.
I'm on a bus talking about it.
No.